Many thanks for staying with us. Well, let's talk insecurity now. The Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, is facing security threat as ISWAP, Boko Haram and bandit terrorists planned to attack Nigerian law school, Buhari worship centers and security formations in the nation's capital. On July 5, the terrorists attacked Kuje prison in the nation's capital, freeing over 600 inmates, including 64 Boko Haram suspects. A security report on an impending attack had forced the Federal Ministry of Education to order the immediate closure of all unity schools in the FCT and directed for immediate evacuation of students on Monday. According to reports, there is impending plan to abduct staff and students of the Nigerian law school. Well, still with us is Dr. Dayo Kaede to discuss this issue further. Thank you for staying with us, Dr. Dayo.
It's my pleasure.
Now, what are your thoughts on these insecurity issues? We also saw the one that came out saying that the terrorists and bandits issued a warning saying that they were going to attack Lagos, Kaduna, and some other places in the country.
You see, the issue of insecurity has nothing to be discussed other than the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Federal Republic of Nigeria, Mr. Buhari Muhammadu, should change his attitude. Should change his attitude that is antithetical to observance of the tenets of our Constitution, which says protection of human lives and properties. He should change his attitude to ensure that, because he is working against it. One, how many terrorists till today have been arrested? If some have been arrested, let us go back to history. How many of them have been prosecuted? If some have been prosecuted, how many of them have been punished? But rather, you are swapping them. You are swapping them. Look at the Kuje incident. For all those hours, none of them could be gunned down. Immediately after, another their leader, not just ordinary member, leader that have been declared wanted, was to ban in a Nigeria village with over 100 of his cohorts on bike, and we were having police at that particular ceremony, and you cannot arrest anybody. You are now bamboozling me by saying you are deposing the traditional ruler. Who are you fooling? Do you think we are still in the Stone Age? We are no more in the Stone Age. No. That is, don't feed me. I can feed myself.
Are you saying this government is complicit in all of the insecurity issues?
This government is nothing other than complicit and promoter of insecurity in this country. They are promoters. It has been said by several people. Melaifa, former deputy governor of Central Bank, said it. What's his name? The leader of new PDP that led them to APC then, Baraje, had a conference about it. The other governor of Kaduna, El-Rufai, said it, that he went to settle them in Chad with how many hundreds, thousands of dollars. So what are you talking about? There is nothing. Don't let us call a spade a spade. Yoruba will say, "Tẹ́ bá wí, ẹ kú, bẹ́ẹ̀ wí, Eku. That is, either you say it, you will die. If you don't say it, you will die. So why don't you kuku say it and die? Okay, enough is enough. You should see what happened in one area yesterday that I witnessed. There would have been serious mayhem by the same people that are riding Okada, and they are everywhere. Okay. If not because the spirit of the Almighty came down and then gave some of us wisdom, to just enter that about to happen mob by the same people. Okay. And then don't think quite like that. But it still took us almost 3 hours.
Okay, let's look at it this way. Now this is the Nigerian law school. I mean, we had the Kuja prison attacked, which is about 20 kilometers according to reports from the seat of power.
Yeah.
Now the Nigerian law school reports that they were also being targeted. As a matter of fact, the ambush that the Presidential Guards Brigade suffered, was said to be along the Buhari Kubwa Road. And that was when they were trying to mop up the area and all of that. Now, the reports is that, the Presidential Guards Brigade ran into that ambush as a result of the terrorists also targeting the law school. They were about hitting the law school, which is located at Buhari. Now, for all of these issues, what do we do to curb these things? Because now it's not just about your communities, the rural areas. They're now into the cities. Now you now have the Federal Capital Territory. It's not just the remote villages in the capital of the nation that are being attacked. Now you now have cities being targeted and prominent institutions like the Nigerian Law School. What can be done to address all of these?
There is nothing you can do other than the president giving a statement to his service chiefs, mop up the terrorists.
But that's what the Presidential Guards Brigade were doing before they ran into the ambush.
Is that what they are doing?
Well, reports that's what they were doing. They were on patrol of that particular access.
That is a statement to you.
Okay.
Don't sleep. Because if you sleep, and it's a pity, the whole country has been surrounded, either you like it or not. With what I saw yesterday, the whole country has been surrounded by terrorists. And they are all pretending as Okada riders, bowlers, gatesmen, or people that are just walking by, just roaming around.
But we want to be careful not to raise panic.
Exactly.
It is not about panic. Listen, before now, I never believed it. Before now. But here, we are sleeping. Either you like it or not. Omobolanle, we are sleeping. There is nothing we can do other than the leadership of this country to be decisive. To be decisive on this issue. Yes. That yesterday, I was trying to tell some of those guys, okay, let's even call the attention of both governor of Lagos State and then governor of Ogun State to it. But what will they even do? There's nothing they can do except the president himself is decisive about this issue. Nothing we can do. Look at a decisive nation. An American was kidnapped, I think in Niger Republic or around Nigeria, and he was now brought to Nigeria, around Borno or so. And their president then said, look, get that guy for me alive within 24 hours. All the way from America. All the way from America. They came. Their personnel came and rescued their citizen alive. And I think they killed two of those kidnappers. That is a decisive nation. He gave them instruction, and at the same time gave them instrumentality of operation. All right, instrumentality of operation is beyond Tucano Jeto. It's beyond it.
Elucidate.
Instrumentality of oppression includes your support. Whatever you do, I am behind you. It includes whatever happens to you, I'll be responsible for it. It includes if you catch even those kidnappers, all right? I will support you to one, interrogate them, to prosecute them, and to punish them. And I will not integrate them to our society. I mean, you got in the elucidation now. So, if those instrumentality of oppression is not there, nothing. We can't do anything. You should say, yeah, I want to conquer bandits. I'm buying to Kano Jet. I am spending this money. I am spending that money. And then you now decide to go and arrest them. Then, so it is you that can arrest. Okay, you are fired. Or you are transferred out of that place. So what are you talking about? Or even those people that you have arrested that have killed some of your colleagues and all that, they now say, okay, they are reintegrating them back to that society to be living side by side with you. How will you feel? Psychologically, you'll be depressed. So where do we go from there? So not until the president himself is ready to deal with this issue decisively, that is nothing we can do. It's a pity. We also have a National Assembly that said, Buhari is our father. Whatever he asks us to do, we will do.
In other words, reintegration of repentant, insurgents is definitely out of the equation. When tackling insecurity or insurgency.
Before I say yes or no to that, assuming somebody.
No,
listen now. Something.
I wasn't asking a question. I just posted it as a statement.
Yeah, if somebody decide to steal this your beautiful tie, that means that person doesn't want you to be corporate. Abi doesn't want you to be corporate at your job. Okay. And without being corporate, it will also affect your KPI. Okay. With that person, will you allow that person to come closer to you? Yes or no? Tell me.
Okay. Now,
will you allow that person to come closer to you? No.
Now let's
not to talk of somebody that has maimed, killed, raped, kidnapped, obtained.
Let's look at it this way. Again, if we have prominent institutions being attacked, where does this leave us as a nation?
And that's why I said you should not sleep.
Where does this leave us as a nation, really? Okay. Because we've talked about, Kuje is a maximum security, prison.
It's supposed to be. Well, supposed but some people had exposed it.
Now that was attacked barely 20 kilometers away from the seat of power.
With some people support.
The Nigerian Law School, which is also not far from, the seat of power, also being targeted before,
because we have some saboteurs.
Again, for all of these attacks, the president's advance team and all of that, Kaduna International Airport, these are blatant statements that vivid, that explicit, and are bold statements that the insurgents are making in that regard, that they can have their way. They are
telling you that they have that support. They have that support.
That's the postulation.
That they are the owner of the land. That there is something they cannot do. Now, and nothing will happen to them. That's what they are telling you.
Now, that's the postulation from their own stance. My question would be this: where does this leave us as a nation? I'm asking again, that's one. Two, how do we get out of this? I know you've said, yes, the president needs to show up as the commander-in-chief, not just in terms of rhetoric, but also body language and what have you. But for all of, the arms, ammunitions, basically the security strength that we have, both in personnel and, arms and ammunitions, how do we address these issues? We can't continue this way as a nation.
You see, when you look at our personnel, security personnel that we have, when they go out, you see them performing, collecting medals and laurels. Okay? You know why? Because they have the support of the authority that has sent them on such duties. Okay? But here, when they come back here, you see them folding their hands. You see them closing their eyes to some things. You even see some of them resigning. You are aware now, when some soldiers resigned. Has it ever happened before? No. Okay? Now, it is it is not about arms and ammunitions. We have sophisticated arms and ammunitions. But to what extent are they being allowed to use it? To what extent is the government making our security personnel to have stable psychology? I don't know whether you understand. To what extent? So all those things are not there. All those motivations are not there. Rather, government kept on dampening those guys. Okay? So there is nothing you and I can do to that except say the president. Where does it leave you and I? Where does it leave you and I? I said it earlier. All these things that are happening, they are statements to you that Omoyeri Okombo. That is, hide your head. Somebody is trying to catapult, is sending catapult to you. Hide your head. Yeri Okombo. Because if you don't dodge it, it hits your head. Well,
but how can the people, you know, protect themselves in this instance if one, they're not even permitted?
To talk about carrying guns now,
well, I'm not even going there. But one, if the government that is meant to protect them is failing in that responsibility and they are not even permitted by law to defend themselves,
do you know that?
How then do they defend themselves? Not everyone can travel.
Do you know that earlier, your country were being served with water from Water Corporation, before now. But now, when Water Corporation were not performing, we started having borehole, isn't it? At least providing that for ourselves. When ECN, Electric Corporation of Nigeria, was changed to NEPA, and NEPA started malfunctioning, we started buying generators. Okay? Highly ingenious people. So, the way we have been able to develop that, now we know that there is insecurity in this. So let us also develop ways in which there are ways in which our fathers have been protecting themselves before now. Especially the hunters. They will go to the bush and face lion one-on-one, and they will still defeat that lion.
Are you suggesting we go diabolic?
You are the one saying it. I'm only saying there are ways we can also be ingenious and come up with some things.
Doctor, do we have to wrap it up?
Baba Basanjo the other time talked to the Africans. Say, okay, these people are not allowing you to go through gun right. Go and carry Betu, go and carry Iwo, go and carry Igbadi, go and carry Ifunpa. All those things are there. So why we or let our
you would be interfering with people's belief system.
Also, I say also let our pastors, because in those days when there is problem in the city, you will see prophets. They will go to the mountain 4 days, 3 days, 7 days, 21 days, depending on. Do you understand? Let also our pastors, our prophets, like Baba Adeboye, Tre, Olukoya, Oyedepo, all of them, Yakilome, come together and go to the mountain and pray. And then you will see all these things too. All
right, we'll have to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for your time on iBrandTV this morning, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
All right, we've been speaking with Dr. Daya Kayode, especially on the insecurity issues in the country. We hope that the federal government would make use of this intel, the security intel, so that we can curb further insecurity in the country. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll talk money. Please stay with us.